The video you're about to watch has an item that after I filmed it, I found out Vince had already fixed this item in one of his videos from last summer. Now, I hadn't seen Vince's fix or his video before I purchased this item, and my fix on this item is different than his, so I hope you enjoy it. But if you've been following Vince's channel for a while, you'll probably notice this item from his channel. I hope you guys still enjoy, and let me know what you think of the fix. Now, this item is a large one. It's one of the larger ones I've got for this challenge. It's something that I find to be really cool, and I hope you guys will enjoy this one too. It's an Atomic Arcade pinball machine. It's a tabletop pinball machine. This was sold at Fred Meyer for $26.95. Let's open the box and see what condition it's in. All right, here we go. The box itself is actually in okay condition. Got a lot of scratching going on this part of it. Here we go. We've got the two supports for the bottom. Some sort of instruction type manual maybe. Okay, this just explains how to set up the machine. Atomic Arcade Pinball is a carefully crafted instrument. This sounds like an iPhone or something. Care should be taken to keep it working properly and to prevent damage to its precision components. Well, let's take a look and see what we can do with the precision components. First thing we need to do is get some batteries in it and start it up and see what it does. Okay, we should be good on batteries. I never had anything fancy like this when I was a kid. I played with like sticks and rocks and stuff, so I don't really know too much about how this works, but let's see what happens when we power it on. Okay, we just got a constant beeping. Got the light on here. Okay, I'd say that's the first thing we gotta figure out is why that just stays on the entire time. So I'm thinking we just take these screws off. There are screws underneath to take the rest of it off, but I think we need to start by taking this off so we can see if we can figure out what's going on in here. Okay, there we go. Well, that's pretty simple. That just comes out like that. All right, and here's the circuit board we're looking at. I'm going to take this screw off so we can flip it over and see if we can find anything wrong at all. I'm guessing there's something wrong on this, but I don't know for sure, and we also could have a problem with the switch as well. So let's take this off and see if we can see anything wrong at all. I don't see anything obvious. We're obviously looking for anything like, you know, bulged up capacitors or anything that's browned or burned. I don't see anything at all on this though. And one of the things I just thought of though is it might not actually be a problem on this little board. It could actually be one of the switches inside of the pinball machine. Maybe there's a switch that's stuck closed or something. Like I said, I don't know how it works internally, so I think what I'm going to do is actually take the whole entire back off of it and then look at any switches or electronics that are under there and then see if we can figure it out from there. Okay, now we have that back in where it goes. We should be able, yeah, here we go. We can lift this out. Looks like I need to let the ball loose. Now let's try it. Hey, there we go. This is also good because then I can clean the inside of this. Okay, so this needs to come up, which looks like we have one screw there. And okay, the flippers just come off like that. That's easy enough. So let's get the ball out. Remove the flippers. See the little groove it goes in right there. Oh, the flipper. Let's see what else. That doesn't need to come off, so let's get this screw off. And then hopefully be able to look at the insides of this. Okay. This is actually a piece of metal, which is kind of good. Hopefully it's all cleanable. Looks like it might be. Okay, here's the part that I was looking at. So we do have a motor here, and we got some little switches down there. So let's take a look and see how this wiring looks on this thing. All right, everything looks good. We do have a little bit of something going on here. A little bit of corrosion going on there. I don't think that's a big problem, but it is always possible. Yeah, it's hard to tell. So I do see down in here, there's two little pieces of metal. If this goes down this way, if this goes this way, those two pieces of metal touch right there. So I'm wondering if maybe the motherboard over there thinks that those two pieces are touching when they're not. Not really sure. Let's take this cover off and see how the motor looks. So looking down here at the motor, I don't see any problems at all. The motor seems to turn nice and free. So I'm gonna actually put this back on, clean up this little bit of corrosion here, and then start looking at the rest of the circuit board and maybe this switch up top as well. So I'm going to install the batteries back into this thing, and then I'm going to check this switch and then just see if there's anything we can tell just by the circuits here and where voltage is, if there's anything else we can do, or if it looks like there's a problem on this circuit board. I hope there's not, because some of these components would be pretty hard to find probably, but if that's what it is, then that's what it is, and we'll deal with it then. But let's try and rule everything out first. Now we have the batteries back in. Let's turn it on and see if we can figure out anything more than we could tell last time. Now we have the batteries back in. Let's turn it on and see if we can figure out anything more than we could tell last time. Oh, we got some motor movement. Okay, so we got the motor moving, which is good. I'm not sure why it's moving though when it didn't last time. So now it's not giving any power at all. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take this apart. Now on these old switches, there's some of them you can actually take apart and clean. I don't know if this is one of those, but I hope it is, because that's going to be a hard part to find. Okay, here goes. Okay, we got some wires under there. Those 4 wires. I think we can unbend these. Problem is gonna be, I'm not totally sure what we're gonna find under there. And this is like almost like a cardboard material. So we gotta make sure that we're very, very careful here. Okay, there we go. And what we have here is pretty much a perfect looking switch. I don't see any problems here. The only thing I might do is bend these tabs up a little bit just to make a better connection here. So all we have to do is connect this circuit with this circuit. And this circuit with this circuit. Okay, and that doesn't seem to make the problem go away. Doesn't seem to get it working, so it tells me that the problem might not be in our switch. I am gonna, like I said, I'm gonna bend these prongs up just to make sure we get a nice tight contact there. Then we'll put this back together and just see if it happens to do any good. Well, we've ruled out the switch as being the source of the problem, which means it's likely something in our circuit board. It is always possible it's maybe something back at the motor, but I just have a feeling it's in the circuit board somewhere. But we're gonna keep messing with it and see if we can figure this thing out. Oh. Okay, for that one, so that was just the motor that was hung up. So, do we have another bad motor? That's the question. Okay, I think that gives us a good clue. I think the motor on this might just need to be cleaned. Let's take it apart and see if that's all it needs. Before I do that though, I want to get a sneak peek at this thing, because this looks really cool. Okay, are you ready for this? Clearly, I am not a good pinball player. Now this thing is awesome. I know I said the Big Bird clock was probably one of my favorites, but I might have to change it. This is very cool. Let me know in the comment section if you've ever played a tabletop pinball machine like this, because I find it amazing. Okay, now it looks like the motor's just mounted in there with kind of like a rubber shim sort of thing. Same with the back. So theoretically we should be able to just lift it out. Okay, like that. Okay, so we got this piece and this one on the back. And we've got this piece and this piece that we need to pry off, just like the last motor. Is this not gonna be crazy if this is gonna need the exact same repair as the Big Bird alarm clock? Now I'm gonna need to desolder these two pieces to be able to get this back fully off. So I need to do that now, and then we'll have a look at the inside. Okay, here we have just the motor. Wow, okay. Well, that one came out. Got some gunk there. Okay, now what we need to do is get this part out, because that's the part that hasn't. Oh, here we go. Yeah, look at this. See all that gunk built up and all that gunk built up in there? This one has the exact same problem. Well, luckily for us, we know how to fix it. This one's actually easier because it has these arms instead of those two little tiny wires. So let's get this one cleaned up and try it again and see what happens. This is just great news for me. This toy is amazing. Like I said before, I've never had anything like it, so it's a very cool fix. Hopefully this is the only thing it is. I think it might be. It's gonna be amazing if we can just get this thing going just with that amount. It's one thing to remember through these fixes that we're not, you know, Vince and I, we're not just doing it for fun. At least me, I'm not just doing it for fun. It is fun for me. But I want to show you guys how many of these old things you can fix. You know, if it's in your dad's or grandpa's garage, or, you know, maybe it's just your dishwasher, you know, like there's a lot of stuff you can fix if you just give it a try and just take a, you know, a good diagnostic approach at it and just go, you know, step by step and start ruling stuff out. We've turned into such a, you know, a throwaway society. If it doesn't work, then we just throw it away, you know, and Same with this thing. This is not that hard of a fix, and yet it would have been super easy for someone to just throw it away. So my point is just, that repair matters, and it's not just a matter of, not even necessarily just saving money, but just keeping things working longer. So, you don't need to go buy a new form of entertainment every couple days or weeks or whatever, This sort of a thing is really cool. It's really old, and, someone could have fixed it up fairly easily. It does take a little bit of diagnostic skill, but definitely something you could do. Okay, there we go. Got it all back together. Spins nice and free. Now we need to solder these wires back on and test it. Okay, we got it clean. We got it soldered back on. Now we just need to put it together the rest of the way. Okay, and now it's the moment of truth. Is it gonna work? Oh yeah. That works really nice first try. Let's try it a few more times and see if it's gonna keep working, and if so, we'll clean it up, put it back together, and then give it a real test. So if you remember when we first tried it several times with the switch, we would have to get this motor right here. We would have to spin it just a little bit to get it going. Now it starts up right on its own. First try every time. Okay, I think we have this one fixed. Now it's time to clean it, get that clear plastic over the top looking as good as we can, and then have some fun with it. Okay, here we go. This looks much better. There's not any grease on it. We've gotten all of that off, gotten any of the dust particles, so this looks really good. Now I want to get the actual pinball machine up and clean out the inside and then clean that top cover. Okay, I feel like that's looking good, about as good as we're gonna get it. So let's get this back installed, let's get it all put back together, and then we can give it a true test. And just when I get it about together, I remember the black screw. You remember the black screw that goes right on the metal plate? Yeah, I forgot to put that in. Now we can put it back together. Our tabletop pinball machine has now been fixed, it's been cleaned, and now all it's left to do is test it and then get it sold. And here we go. We're gonna do one ball and see how many points we can get. And here we go. Not a very good start. Oh! 590 points. I gotta do one more. Let's clear out the points. Oh, 75 points. I gotta do one more. Oh! Okay, but we got 6,590 points. Let me know if you think you could do better. Thanks for watching this video on my item number 3. Let me know in the comments how cool you think this is in comparison to my first 2 items. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day.